By popular demand, we're going to take a look at 2 Australian cryptocurrency exchanges and find out which one is more suitable for your trading. The first being Independent Reserve, the most trusted cryptocurrency exchange in Australia, and the second is a new cryptocurrency exchange based out of Brisbane called Swyftx. Just like with other comparison videos, I want to take a look at the fees, the spread, the liquidity, variety of coins on the exchange, and also the transparency of the exchange. 3 things before we jump into the comparison. 1, this is not financial advice, it's for educational purposes only. 2, the timestamps are in the description so you can jump ahead to any section in the future if you want to use it for a reference source. And 3, like up the video if you find any value from this at all. It really does help the channel out a lot. And along with liking the video, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new here for more stock market and cryptocurrency education and updates. So without further ado, let's jump across into the comparison. First things first, we need to deposit some money into our accounts, and we need to first create an account on each of these exchanges. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole create account process. I do have videos on the channel that explain that in detail. What we're going to see here is Independent Reserve's homepage, and for Swyftx, this is what it should look like. Make sure you've got the correct URLs for each of these sites, which I'll leave a link for in the description down below. So once you've created an account, you'll need to deposit some money into your account. This video is about comparing the 2 exchanges, so I'm not going to go through how to do that in this video, but if you'd like to know more, let me know in the comments down below and I can make a separate video for that. So for this, we just want to compare the Bitcoin prices at the moment, because our first thing we want to compare are fees, and then we want to move on to the spreads, liquidity, transparency, and then overall variety. So right now we're going to look at the buy sell on Independent Reserve, and that we can reach that by hitting buy sell. Now the price of Bitcoin is $18,726, and we're doing the same thing on Swyftx. We're just going to hit trade, then buy, and it comes up with Bitcoin in an Aussie dollar price. So right now it's 18,819. Over on Independent Reserve, it's 18,719. So there's a $100 difference between the 2 exchanges. Now that's going to vary. I've seen it around $70 to up to 110. So keep that in mind. Right now, Independent Reserve has the better price. Let's take a look at the fees and let's type in 1,000 Aussie dollars. Now we're going to get 0.053 of a Bitcoin. And if we do the same thing over on Swyftx, we're going to get 0.0527 of a Bitcoin. So slightly less, probably because of the spread, and also that the fees are slightly lower on Independent Reserve. Now on Swyftx, we can see here the fee is 0.6%. On Independent Reserve, they're 0.5, so not too much. However, there is a difference when it comes to depositing your money into Swyftx, as they convert it straight from Aussie dollars to US dollars, and then if you want to buy a cryptocurrency, it's converted into the Aussie dollar pricing, even though it's sitting in US dollars. And I'll show you where that is. This is the article on Swyftx that explains how they convert their fiat currencies. I won't bore you with the whole thing, but make sure you do go through and read it. Essentially, they charge a Forex fee on the buying. So as you deposit money from your Aussie dollars into the platform, it's going to convert from Aussie dollars to US dollars. So then you're going to be buying your cryptos with US dollars, even though it says it on AUD. The other thing is you'll have to note that when you go to sell out back into your fiat currency, if you want to put that back into your bank account, you'll have to pay the Forex fee again on the other side. So I have a little table here. Essentially, it's going to look like 0.3% for the Forex charge. Then you're going to buy Bitcoin at 0.6, sell Bitcoin at 0.6. Then you're going to withdraw it again into your bank account. So it's going to come up to about 1.8%, maybe 2%, just depending on those fees of the day. As for Independent Reserve, it's going to be 0.5 to buy, 0.5 to sell. So 1% overall. So now Independent Reserve wins that hands down. They are basically half the price of Swyftx to buy and sell your Bitcoin. As for the 2 comparison metrics so far, Independent Reserve wins out on both of those. On the spread, as we can see here, using the Bitcoin price, and on Swyftx, it's almost $100 more. And then of course the fees. Independent Reserve is cheaper on that front too. I'll come back to transparency in a moment, but for now, let's have a look at the liquidity. And on Independent Reserve, which we know from the previous video from CoinSpot, Independent Reserve do show their liquidity. You can see exactly how much is on the order book, and you can see just how deep you have to go in order to get slippage. Basically, slippage is just the depth of the market. So if you wanted to sell about 2 Bitcoin, you would come down to 18,733. Whereas on Swyftx, we aren't sure where 2 Bitcoin would leave us. It could drop us hundreds of dollars down. We just don't know what the depth is of their market. It could be quite deep. We just don't see it here. So that leads me to transparency. And without that, I have to give the transparency side to Independent Reserve because I can see what's on their platform and I could also see what their fees were straight away. I didn't have to go through other articles and do calculations to figure out how much I would be paying in fees. So for transparency, that goes to Independent Reserve. And for the liquidity, it also goes to Independent Reserve. Guys, if you're finding some value in the video, be sure to hit the like button down below. It goes a long way to helping me and the channel out. Beat the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do that too. I know about 50% of you are watching these videos not subscribed. God help us all. Go down and do that now. Let's crack on with the comparison. Let's move on to our final metric, and that is variety. So on Independent Reserve, we can easily see what they have on the exchange. It's just this short list on this side of about 20 or so cryptos. Whereas on Swyftx, they have a plethora of altcoins to choose from. A lot of the majors, a lot of the small stuff, and a lot of the new stuff. So just straight away, that one easily goes to Swyftx. They have the variety here. So if you're looking for something in particular in Australia, then this is probably the exchange you want to go to. CoinSpot also had a variety. However, it looks like Swyftx have a few more, and in particular, some of the new stuff. Let me know what your choice is in the description when it comes to variety. Which Australian exchange do you like to use when it comes to a variety of altcoins? Now, as for the depth of the market, we're not sure of this. Just remember that even though it says Aussie dollars, it is trading in US dollars behind the scenes, but there's not too much of a spread difference when it comes to the actual price. One more thing to note with Swyftx is that they have minimum buy amounts. So you can't just come in here and buy $1 of any of these cryptos. I don't know why you would want to do that, but they do have a minimum order size of 25 Aussie dollars on pretty much all of these cryptos. I've clicked through a few of them and it's just basically the same thing, $1, $25. The only reason I can see that being a problem is if you wanted to do some sort of dollar cost averaging on a very small amount on multiple different cryptos, then of course your minimum size is going to be $25. Although minor, it's just something to keep in mind when comparing it to Independent Reserve, where their minimum amount is just $1. So for a quick example, let's use 1,000 Aussie dollars and minus the fees off each of these exchanges. And what we come up with is $982 if you were to purchase $1,000 of Bitcoin and then sell it back into your bank account. With Independent Reserve, it's going to be around $990 if you were to do the same thing. In summary, comparing Independent Reserve with Swyftx, I'll have to go with Independent Reserve if I want to get my fiat currency into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, into the majors, and do that as cheaply as possible. As for trading some exotic altcoins, then Swyftx wins that one hands down. They have a plethora of altcoins to choose from, and there is no shortage of those stopping. One final reminder, just be aware of the fees cashing in and out if you choose to use Swyftx after trading all of your altcoins. I've left a referral link to both of these exchanges in the description down below. You'll get $10 of free Bitcoin if you sign up and deposit money into your account. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know which Aussie exchanges you trust the most and enjoy using. Hit me up in the comments down below. And if there are some new exchanges you want to have reviewed, also let me know in the comments. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like up the video. It goes a long way to helping me out and the channel in the YouTube algorithm. Be sure to hit the subscribe if you're new, because I cover everything on the stock market and cryptocurrencies and discuss the latest news and updates in the space so that we can build our own investment portfolios. Thanks again for joining me, and until next time, have more fun to get more done. Peace out.